with the policies of protecting America in many ways. Energy policy and the rest has joined us. Mr. Holt, if you would care to join us and share your thoughts on this most important event, the elimination of the world's greatest mass murderer.
Well, thank you, Representative Garamendi, and thanks for setting aside some time tonight to recognize this work by some great patriots. When I heard the news on Sunday, my thoughts turned immediately to those harmed by bin Laden's vicious attacks on our embassies, our ships, planes, the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and the many thousands of deaths caused by the havoc he sowed. Our hearts go out to those families. Certainly in central New Jersey, we lost hundreds and hundreds of people on September 11th. But we mustn't forget those who died in the embassies a couple of years before that, those who died in the wars that followed. Middletown, New Jersey, lost more people on September 11th than any other single town except New York City. They went off to work not understanding that this evil was at play, that Mr. bin Laden was plotting just the most dastardly thing you can imagine. You know, America's military and intelligence services demonstrated why they are known as the best in the world. Bin Laden's removal was, of course, not immediately the end of the threat of terrorism against the United States, but his death represents a crippling blow to the organization responsible for these many attacks over the last 13 years. It really is appropriate that we congratulate President Obama and the dedicated and brave members of our military and intelligence services for acting as they did. The President showed that he understands intelligence efforts and military operations. And the Special Forces showed that they have the skills and equipment like no others. The hunt for Zawahiri and other al-Qaeda leaders will continue. I suspect that the information gathered in the assault on bin Laden this week will speed that search. I spent a number of years on the Intelligence Committee here in the Congress and learned a great deal about the dedication and the skills of the people that work behind the scenes. You know, when the United States began its military campaign in Afghanistan nearly a decade ago, our goal was to bring to justice bin Laden and other al-Qaeda leaders that were responsible for the attacks. It's worth noting that the senior-most al-Qaeda leaders have been captured or killed not in Afghanistan, but in Pakistan. That fact only reinforces my conviction that the time has come for the United States to begin a swift and orderly withdrawal of our combat forces from Afghanistan. And I hope the President will heed the call of people all over the country, and I would say all over the world, to do precisely that. Now, as we celebrate the courage, the work of the Special Forces, we must also talk about the intelligence services, where they combine enormous skill and brain power and perseverance and, yes, courage. They are frequently only one intelligence leak away from losing all their work or sometimes their lives. Now, the fact that this has taken more than a dozen years since the bombing of the embassies to track down bin Laden and his evil operations emphasizes the need for full, reliable cooperation with other countries, not intermittent, sometime cooperation. It should have been America would have wanted, the world would have wanted that this be completed sooner. So we need that international cooperation. This demonstrates it. As Mr. Hansen, our colleague, points out, though, the day-to-day protection of Americans won't be done by special forces. It will be done by courageous Americans who do the right thing day in and day out. Our local first responders, the investigators, that's how most, in fact, nearly all of the potential terrorist attacks that have been undone, have been uncovered. So this is sobering to think about what we have in front of us yet, but we know we have good people working on it. We saw that this past week, and we celebrate them and congratulate them and our leaders for carrying it out. I thank you for taking this time.
Mr. Holt, thank you very much. A couple of things about your discussion here really struck me as being very, very important. You reminded us of the men and women that died not only on September 11th, the impact on the community that you represent there in New Jersey and other communities, but also the fact that men and women died in the previous attacks that were sponsored and planned by Al-Qaeda. You also reminded us that there were men and women not of this country but of other countries, Kenya, Tanzania, Iraq, Pakistan, and other countries, that were also the victims of the vicious, evil attacks that were planned and carried out by Al-Qaeda. It's not just Americans that were the targets of this organization. And you also reminded us of the importance of our own first responders and police and others here in the United States. We know that the reach of Al-Qaeda is not just Afghanistan, Iraq, Pakistan. It includes Yemen and Somalia and other countries, and America. That there are Americans that have been radicalized by the message. We need to deal with that and address those individuals and organizations that may exist within our own country. Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
And if the gentleman would yield, I
Certainly.
would add one more comment, which is I hope that this will bring the world closer together. The recognition that the killings, the evil worked by this man, affected many thousands, really hundreds of thousands around the world. I'm sure many of these people are grateful, the families of those who've been killed in other countries and so forth, are grateful for the actions of these brave Americans. But I hope that what this does is bring the countries of the world more, and the peoples of the world more closely together in fighting such evil.
If I might take it from there, you reminded me that in the newspapers here in Washington and I think across this nation, there was what we call an op-ed, an article that appeared on the editorial pages written by the President of Pakistan, who congratulated President Obama and the United States for ridding Pakistan of a terrible problem. I thought that that was a remarkable article that he wrote. He noted that his own wife was the target of Al-Qaeda. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. The final effort resulted in her assassination. So the point that you made about bringing all of us closer together to deal with terrorism, wherever it may be and whatever rationale it may perceive itself to have, is a threat to every peaceful person and every country that desires peace. Point well made and well taken, Mr. Holt. Thank you so very much for joining us this evening. I'd like now to turn, and you're welcome to stick around and join us after we hear from my colleague from the state of California, Lois Capps, who represents the Santa Barbara